I met a gypsy.
Dude, I've been so tempted just to unfollow everyone on my thing, and not for like a cocky move or anything, but like then you just can't scroll. You can't get stuck in it, and it's like more of a personal thing for me to be like, it's like, you know, we're talking about like if you've got certain things, it's like it's so hard to like resist to use them. So it's like if you just wipe the slate of everyone on there, it's like, well then I'll go on, I'll just post what I need to post, keep people happy, reply to messaging, and then that's it. And then it's like you can't scroll then. But also it is nice to see now and again. It's like sometimes it's good to see what people are doing and whatnot. Even like when I flew into Brisbane, it's like you can use it as a tool. So I put up a photo flying into Brisbane, and then suddenly that heap of people that lived around here were just like, oh, you're in town, let's catch up. So then it's like, it's just like you literally like throw something out there and see what you get back. So it's like super handy for that kind of stuff. But it's like, I think
it's just like the discipline around it is so hard, because like you're fighting against, like your willpower is fighting against the best engineers and the best, you know, the best tech people in the world are trying to addict you to that phone. And they're trying to keep you on that platform. And it's like, I mean, it's a bit of a contradiction, because like I'm making content for that platform. But it's just a weird, it's a weird world. So I'm trying to just build some discipline around it, you know? I
think it's like we say, like if you can educate people to know how to use it, like that's the thing, because it's like, it's good and it's also bad, but that's like most things out there. So it's like, it's same with food. It's like you can enjoy food, doesn't mean you have to overindulge in it and get fat. And that's the same with social media. I think like people just overindulge in it but don't see it having the same effect as food, because if you eat too much food you get fat. It's real obvious. If you use too much social media, it's kind of that hidden issue where it's like you're probably more anxious, or like you're more depressed, or you like but you can't really see that. And a lot of people try and hide it as well, and then they get stuck more into the phone, which then it's like that snowball effect in the wrong direction. But it can, like, dude, I got home back to Australia because of social media. Like I posted a thing on my story. How crazy was that? You fucking got a jet home. I got a PJ home.
PJs, bro.
I didn't even like, because
speaking of that, have you got photos of that on your Instagram?
I got a photo.
Go on there, Ryan.
We'll go find it. So I was so this is after, so I was away for like 4 months at this point, like obviously in Europe and America, and I booked my team booked me a flight home straight after the Snowshoe World Cup. Anyway, while we're at Snowshoe, down there it is.
Fucking look at him go on the PJ.
Oh, how good's I just got my pillow as well. BYO pillow, leopard hair. It was so funny because I was in America, booked my, I had my flight booked. Anyway, during Snowshoe, all the Australians just kept losing flights. Like everyone, like Troy Brosnan, like all the Hannahs, everyone's like, my flight's cancelled. Anyway, mine hadn't been cancelled. And I was kind of like, maybe I'm the lucky one, but it's like that kind of like too good to be true kind of scenario. So spend the night in Washington after the race. Spend the night in Washington. My team went home because they all flew out to France, so they went home the day before. And so this is after my crash as well. So I'm like, my shoulder's a bit messed up. I'm pretty sore. I've got like a bike bag, a bike box,
a pillow,
all my gear. Anyway, get to the airport the next day, go up to the counter, and the lady's like, "Yep, like this is my flight. Here's my information." And she's like, "Oh, that's weird. It's not coming up." And I was like, "Oh no, here we go." So she's like, I was like, "Is it cancelled?" And she's like, "No, it doesn't look like it's cancelled." And I was like, "Okay, sweet." Anyway, she keeps looking, and I'm like, "No, this is not looking good." So then eventually she's like, "The flight hasn't been cancelled, but it just hasn't been running." And it's what they call ghost flights. So if an airline cancels...
Sounds hard to catch.
Very hard to catch. So if a airline cancels a route from... Because I was supposed to go Washington, LA, Fiji, Sydney. And if they cancel a route, they can't actually keep running it. Another airline can take it. So they don't cancel it. They just, you can book a flight. The flight looks like it's running, but it hadn't run for like 2.5 months. So it's like, I got there and they're just like, "Sorry, there's no flight," even though we've paid for it and everything. So I was like, sweet, what do I do? Kind of like stuck in Washington airport. So luckily it's pretty crazy. Like I've got friends all around the world, and it's like, I feel like it's very rare that you can just message someone in like California and be like, "Hey, can I come crash at yours?" So message a friend, Caroline Herrick, which is Andrew Herrick's daughter, who I met when I was on Intense. And I was like, "Can you pick me up from LA? Like I'm a bit stuck at the moment." And she's like, "Yeah, no worries. I've got a house we can crash at." Sweet. So I flew to LA, got there, she picked me up, and then we're just like cruising to Laguna Beach to stay at like her like stepmom's house. And it's just funny because I was like literally just stuck 1 second, and now I'm like in this BMW cruising like down the freeway to go to Laguna Beach, and I was just like, life is a roller coaster, hey. So I'm there for a couple days just hanging out, and the whole time I'm like, do I try and get a flight home? Do I try and stay? Like, what's the move here? And I was pretty ready to go home. Like, my girlfriend was back home, and I was like, it's been a long time since I've seen her, so I was like, I'm ready to go. Anyway, I started looking, like maybe going to the embassy, applying. I started looking on Facebook, stuff like that. And then getting back to the social media thing, I put up a status saying, hey, I'm stuck in America, can anyone help, pretty much. Anyway, a day later, a lady from Wollongong got onto me, and she's like, hey, I'm a travel agent. This might seem a bit sus, but I can help you get home. You just have to fly to from LA to New Zealand, and then you get a private jet from New Zealand to Australia. And I was like, this sounds a bit scammy, because it's it's just like, it seemed like too good to be true.
Yeah.
And she's like, the flight from LA to New Zealand standard price, and then the private jet's going to be a bit more on top of that. And then I was like, what does the private jet look like? And she sent me a photo of it. I was like, ooh. I was like, it's kind of real tempted. Anyway, I got onto my team, and Scott were lucky enough. They're like, we won't pay for all of it, but we'll pay for half. And the fact I've been in Europe all year, like normally I have like 1 or 2 back and forth. So realistically, travel budget was like still not too bad. So they're like, yep, go ahead, you can do it. You just got to pay the other half. And I'm like, I'll pay that to go on a private jet, like kind of like once in a lifetime kind of shit. So then book it all, and like got to Sydney. Got to Auckland, sorry. And it's just me and a few other people like waiting around. And it's still like, it's really sus because you're not even supposed to fly into New Zealand. Like, that was like off limits altogether. So
that's what I thought.
Yeah, to even fly in there was a bit like, is this okay kind of thing. Anyway, we fly in, land, and then we just get kind of put in this random waiting area. And then come pick us up. We're driving around. We're like, what's this plane going to look like? We're going to go like rock up at a Cessna or something. Is this like real dodgy? Anyway, we rock up. There's obviously the private jet, and everyone's like so nice and like real outgoing. Get on the plane. It was just like a bit of a trip. And I'm like sitting there, and the guy next to me is a super friendly guy. And I'm like chatting to him for a little bit. And he's like, yeah, I'm in like sports, like marketing, stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, keep chatting. And I was like, what exactly do you do, like, to be on a private, like, I'm like, this is very rare for me, but like he seemed like he'd probably done it a few times.
Yeah.
And I asked him what he did, and he's like, you know the Sea Eagles?
Yeah.
He owned the Sea Eagles. So he was like, he flies in between like New York and in Sydney.
What a G.
Anyway, Scott, I can't remember his last name, but it was Scott someone, and he owned the Sea Eagles, and he was just like the biggest legend, hey. So we were just on there, and anyway, it was quite weird to get off a private jet and then hop on a bus to hotel quarantine. I went from like this high to like a low super quick, but it was like, I reckon we've got to be one of the first people to hop off a private jet onto like a normal school bus.
Just a shit old bus.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a super cool experience. Like, even the captain would like get up, chat with us. He's like, yeah, come into the cockpit, hang out. They were like super friendly, but yeah, cool experience for sure. But it was just one of those things where you're just like, what is life going to throw at you?
How much did it end up costing?
So to get, I think it was all up like from LA and then Auckland, and then Auckland to Sydney, I think it was 13 grand all up. So like, I think the first flight was like probably like maybe 2 grand. So there's the private jet from like Auckland. It was like a bit over 10, I'd say. So
fuck, it's pretty expensive.
It's a lot of cash, yeah. But I was just like, if I can just pay for half of that, I'm happy, which they did. So thank you to Scott for like looking out for me, because I was looking like, do I just stay in America and just hang out for a while? But like, you know, when you're not present, you're not in that moment, and you're just like, I was injured, so I was like, it was hard to enjoy shit anyway.
If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And to listen to the full 3-hour podcast, search Gypsy Tales in your favorite podcast platform, or click the link in the description below. Gypsy Gang.